Ever wonder what makes a tech resume really stand out? And I'm not just talking about landing the job, but like telling a story, you know?
Today, we're taking a deep dive into the career of Mike McKeown, Senior Director at Verimatrix.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because it's not just your typical cybersecurity, video, and AI background. Mike's got this really fascinating blend of technology, leadership, and even community involvement woven in.
Yeah, you're right, that community aspect is really unusual. But even from the start, his resume is kind of a curveball. It starts back in the late 80s at
Oh,
GCHQ.
wow, GCHQ.
British intelligence, we're talking designing networks for one of Europe's most powerful data centers right out of the gate. Like, what kind of skills even get you that job right out of university? That's definitely not your average entry-level position. It kind of implies he had a high level of technical expertise very early on, which makes you think, right, he was probably already working in these high-pressure, high-stakes environments.
Right.
And those early experiences probably exposed him to some seriously cutting-edge technology, which, let's be honest, is crucial in such a fast-moving field like tech.
Totally. So it's not just about knowing the tech, but proving that you can actually handle it, especially when it matters. Do you think this early experience kind of set the stage for everything else in his career?
Oh, absolutely. Think of it like a strong foundation.
Right.
Those demanding environments, they force you to develop your skills really quickly, and they build a resilience that honestly is so valuable throughout your entire career. Plus, just having GCHQ on your resume establishes instant credibility, and it hints at this pattern of pursuing challenging roles.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then comes Cisco. From 1994 to 2018, we're talking over 2 decades. It's easy to get kind of lost in the sheer number of roles he had. But it's the verbs he uses that really paint the picture. Orchestrated, pioneered, led. This isn't someone who was just clocking in and out.
Absolutely, he's clearly focused on impact, and not just with words, he backs it up with numbers. Look at how he emphasizes all of his quantifiable achievements. Dollar amounts, growth percentages. For example, he mentions securing a multi-million-dollar contract for this, like super complex hybrid cloud solution.
Okay, hold on. For those of us who aren't tech wizards, break down what a hybrid cloud solution actually is.
Sure, basically it's a way for companies to combine their existing tech setup, their infrastructure, with cloud-based services. It's a lot more complicated than just buying software, right? It requires a deep understanding of not just the technology itself, but the client's specific needs.
Okay, so it's not just selling a product, it's like designing a whole solution. Got it. But back to Mike, he also talks about leading sales and service teams, even getting into global forecasting and creating these business opportunity dashboards. It's obvious this wasn't a one-man show. He was building teams and driving strategy.
Exactly. It shows a combination of that big picture strategic thinking, but with the hands-on tactical execution.
Yeah.
He gets the strategy, but he's not afraid to roll up his sleeves and get it done. And it's interesting, he brings up this Cisco Accelerated Development Program.
He mentions it twice, actually.
Exactly, twice, which makes me think this wasn't just a check mark on a list for him. It probably played a big part in his development at Cisco, and it highlights that commitment to continuous learning.
Hmm.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Even with all of this, climbing the corporate ladder at Cisco, he co-founds Thames Head Energy.
Right. Talk about a side hustle. And this wasn't just a small thing. He helped raise over 60,000 pounds. He spearheaded projects. He was working with local authorities, even advocating for policy changes. That shows real passion.
It does, and it really speaks to his initiative. And that ability to take his technical knowledge and apply it to real-world problems. It's not just about understanding technology for technology's sake. It's about understanding the impact it can have on the world around us.
And it's not like this was just a side project for him, right? He was still super involved at Cisco.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So let's dig a little deeper into his time as Senior Director of Business Development for Cisco's video business. He was in this role from 2010 to 2018, leading a team of 12 people, or not just in one place, but across Europe, Asia, even China.
Wow, talk about a global team. And he's not just managing people either, he's closing deals, big deals. Like, he specifically mentions securing 3 major contracts worth over $45 million. What were these contracts for?
So these weren't your average sales, right? He was providing these, remember how we were talking about those hybrid cloud solutions, the really complex ones, tailored to each client.
Right, right.
That takes a deep understanding, not just of the tech, but of the actual business problems these clients were facing.
So he's really showing he can connect the dots, the technology and the business value. It's like a recurring theme with him.
It really is. And he also makes sure to mention his role in leading the sales and service teams for these contracts, emphasizing that collaborative effort. And then he goes on to talk about global forecasting, even creating a whole business opportunity dashboard. It's like he's giving a master class in strategic leadership.
He's not just closing deals, he's building systems, predicting future trends, the whole 9 yards. And speaking of navigating complex things, he was also super involved in a bunch of Cisco's acquisitions, right?
Oh, yeah. He was a key player in the sales integration for several acquisitions. We're talking Tandberg, Scientific Atlanta, even NDS. Mergers and acquisitions are tough, right? You've got clashing cultures, people worried about their jobs. He excelled in that environment, which says a lot about him.
Okay, so let's recap for a second. We've got tech expert, business strategist, team leader, and now a master of corporate transitions. That's quite a resume already. But then Cisco decides to sell their video business to Primera Capital, which forms Cinemedia. And this is where it gets really interesting. What was Mike's role in all of this?
This was a pivotal point in his career, for sure. He was tasked with leading the sales transition for this brand new company, basically setting up their entire sales and service operation from scratch.
Wow, that's a huge responsibility. It's one thing to work within a system, but to create one from nothing, that's a whole other thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he really gets into the details here. He talks about implementing Microsoft Dynamics 365, Office 365, essentially building the sales infrastructure for this company. These aren't just software names. They represent a deep understanding of how to actually build a business, how to make strategy concrete.
And he doesn't just build it, he proves it works. He says he saved Cinemedia millions of dollars through these implementations. This isn't just knowing the tech anymore, it's understanding the financial impact, delivering real results.
This part of his resume, it really highlights that ability to thrive in high-pressure situations.
Yeah.
He's not just surviving change, he's shaping it, making a real impact.
He's not afraid of a challenge. If anything, he seems to run towards them. Every transition in his career, it's like he unlocks a new skill set. This drive to learn, to adapt, it's really impressive.
That's a key takeaway, for sure. It's one thing to become an expert in something, but to be able to take that expertise to new roles, new challenges, that's something else. Mike demonstrates this over and over throughout his career.
It's amazing how he can just jump between these huge companies and handle those transitions, but we haven't really touched on that entrepreneurial side again. Like Tim's Head Energy, that wasn't just him filling time between jobs at Cisco, right? It says something about what he cares about.
Yeah, absolutely. Thames Head Energy, it was all about community-led renewable energy projects.
Yeah.
He wasn't just donating money, he was in the thick of it. Fundraising, developing projects, working with local authorities, even pushing for policy changes. It shows that he really understands how to get the community involved, how to make sustainable development happen.
And he got some pretty impressive results, too. They made a real dent in the community's carbon footprint, which, by the way, he quantifies on his LinkedIn as being the equivalent of 17 tons of CO2, or, and this is the best part, the weight of 3 African elephants.
3 African elephants, I love that.
Right. It's such a memorable analogy.
It's brilliant, honestly. It takes something complex and makes it relatable. It doesn't matter if he's talking to investors, community members, potential employers. He knows how to get his point across.
That's so important. And it's clear that communication is a real strength for him. He's not just a tech guy. He's not just a business leader. He's a storyteller. And his story doesn't end there, right? After Cinemedia, he takes on all these consulting roles, GSM, Spicy Mango Technology. He even starts his own consulting firm, Summerford Business Advisory. What kind of work was he doing during that consulting phase?
This is where you really see that diverse skill set come into play. He was advising companies on go-to-market strategies, business development, how to build a sales force, basically sharing all the knowledge he had built up over his career.
So he went from building networks for British intelligence to, let's be honest, building entire businesses, and now he's helping others do the same. That's wild.
And if you look closely, even his consulting work, it often ties back to that passion for sustainability. For example, he worked with a company that specialized in energy-efficient technology for mobile networks. It's like he's not just trying to help companies grow, but to do it in a way that's good for the planet.
It always comes back to that sense of purpose, doesn't it? Mike's career really shows what you can achieve when you have the skills, but also the commitment to something bigger than yourself. He's building a legacy, not just a career.
Absolutely. And that's such an important lesson no matter what field you're in. It's about finding that intersection between your skills and what you care about, what you believe in, and using that to make a real impact.
So, whether you're just starting out or you're already established in your career, let Mike McKeown's journey be an inspiration. It's not just about being good at what you do, it's about being adaptable, being a leader, being a great communicator, and never letting go of that sense of purpose.
And never forget your resume. It's more than just a list of jobs. It's your story. What will yours say?